Here's a layout of our creation. We focus just on the story of the strange case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Our final goal was to turn the light switch off, which you'll see towards the end, sorta, and yeah.
Our first station is the marble station, and it represents the long amount of time and effort and the obstacles that Mr. Utterson had to face when trying to discover the truth about Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
The second station is the marble jumping through the red hoop, which signifies the change in perspective from third person limited to first person.
The next section is the House of Cards, and this represents the sudden death of Dr. Lanyon after he found out the truth about Mr. Hyde, and it represents because the House of Cards disappeared so suddenly, just like his.
The Lego tower hitting the dominoes on the top of the box represents the very first suspicious activity that happened from Mr. Hyde, which was him hitting the little girl and running away, which hit Mr. Utterson in shock.
The next thing in our track was the ping pong ball on its long journey. This represents Dr. Jekyll's and Mr. Hyde's long journey once the potion started not working how it would, because they had long nights ahead of them and they barely got to sleep. Also, between having to get the new potions and everything, it was just a lot of hassle.
The next part is the dominoes knocking over the plastic water bottle, which represents the similes and metaphors that describe how Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde's lives are falling apart.
Our end task was the process of turning off the light switch, and when the light was still on, it represented the positive or light perspective for Dr. Jekyll, and when the light was turned off, it represented the dark perspective or the negative aspect for Mr. Hyde.